जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So, we'd like to welcome everyone to Sunday morning Bhagavatam class at Hare Krishna Temple, Burbank. And as has been the tradition for Kuntī Maharani prayers, we will be reciting these prayers by a way of call and response. So, it is first canto, 8th chapter of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, starting from text number 18. Let's do Mangalacharan first. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishthiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Kuntī Uvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishvaram Prakrute Param Alakshyam Sarvabhutanam Antarbahiravastitam माया जवनिकाचन्नम् अज्ञानधोक्षजमव्ययम् न लक्ष्यसे मूढदृशा नतो नाट्यधरो यथा तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनां अमलात्मनां भक्तियोगविदानार्थं कथं पश्येमहि स्त्रियः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रिये यथा ऋषिकेशखलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्धाति चिरं सुचार्पिता विमोचिताहं च सहात्मजा विभूम् त्वयेव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात् विशान्महाग्नेः पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृच्छ्रितः मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्ततो द्रोण्यस्ततश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षितः विपदः सन्तुतः शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्यात् अपुनर्भवदर्शनम् जन्मैश्वर्यश्रुतश्रीभिः एदमानः मदः पुमान् नैवार्हति अभिधातुं वै त्वां किञ्चन गोचरम् नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निवृत्तगुणवृत्तये आत्मरामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यपतये नमः। मन्ये कालम् ईशानाम् मन्ये त्वां कालम् ईशानाम् अनादिनिधनं विभुम् समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानां यन्मिथा कलिः न वेद कश्चिद् भगवांश्च चिकीर्षितम् तवेहमानस्य निनाम विडम्बनम् Na yasya kaschid dayitosti karhachid dveshyascha yasmin vishamatirninam janma karma cha vishvatman ajasya karturatmanah tiryam nishishu yadashu tad atyanta vidambanam gopya dade tvai kritagasidam tavad yate dashashu kalilanjana sambhramaksham Vaktram niniya bhaya bhavanaya sthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yadbhiveti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, dear Prabhus and Matajis. So we'd like to welcome you all again. So I was thinking that we have recited a number of verses now. This is exactly text number 31, halfway through the mark of this set of prayers. And when studying these verses, we have to see through the particular theme. And there are cluster of verses, which particular themes in it. So for example, the first 3 verses, we see the theme is recognition of Krishna's supremacy. And in the last line of the 3rd verse, Kuntī Maharani expresses her humility in terms of her unqualification being a woman, that how can she approach the Lord, although she is most qualified. Another thing we have to bear in mind, that we have to be cognizant of the fact that while we are studying Bhagavatam, our concentration is on Bhagavatam and not any other subject matter. Especially in the morning session of Bhagavatam when we are doing, this is basically hardcore devotees. This is not an outreach program where we're trying to blend things in. So the purity of the message, we are careful that it is intact. And Srīmad Bhāgavatam itself describes on how Srīmad Bhāgavatam is to be approached. So in 12th canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam it is said, Srinvan Supathan Vicharana Paro, that we hear, we repeat, and we think about the subject matter. Now all of the thinking Srila Prabhupada has already done for us, because wonderfully he has given his word-to-word synonyms, translations, and then purports. And why did Prabhupada give word-to-word synonyms? Because this is Rupa Goswami's prescription on how to study Bhagavatam. His prescription is Srīmad Bhāgavata Arthanam Asvado Rasikesaha. If we simply stick to this formula, then we will relish Bhagavatam, because Asvadan means what? Tasting. Tasting. So these verses of the Bhagavatam have to be tasted. This is how Vyasadeva has written it. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam, he says. You drink this nectar of Srīmad Bhagavatam. And how we drink this nectar? Rupa Goswami further says that Srīmad Bhāgavatam Arthanam, the meaning of the Srīmad Bhāgavatam, words, verses, asvado. We have to drink the meanings of Srīmad Bhāgavatam verse and its nectar. And when we do that, then actually Srīmad Bhāgavatam becomes alive. Then Srīmad Bhāgavatam will talk to us. So these are the only set of prayers actually, as Bhavamai Mataji was mentioning, that Srila Prabhupada had sung from start to end and also recorded it. So Srila Prabhupada Vase book is there. I was going through Srila Prabhupada Vase book. This is the Srila Prabhupada Vase book I've had for a number of years. Now, these are the most frequently quoted verses given by Srila Prabhupada. And in this Vase book, all of Kuntī Maharani prayers are there. He picks prayers from here and there, but Srimati Kuntī Maharani prayers, all of it is there. And that shows how important it was for Srila Prabhupada, Queen Kuntī Maharani's prayers. And we should learn these prayers by heart. I know some devotees here, Mataji I know, recites these prayers every day and know them by heart. So not only know, we have to finish the whole cycle, that vichara, we have to think about it. And how we think about it is we contemplate on the meanings of these verses as given by Srila Prabhupada, and then we can see our own realizations according to these verses. So I was thinking in this session, whatever verses we have covered so far, let's do a thorough revision of it. So in that way, we can somehow or the other attempt to have an in-depth dive into Kuntī Maharani's realizations and her prayer to Lord Shri Krishna and her plea. Is that okay? We can take this mic and distribute. Sorry. I think you have to arrange for another mic. The battery is not here. Okay, I'll do the first. Mataji, you would like to do the first one, first verse. You can sing it, let everyone recite, and then we'll just do the revision. Kuntī Uvacha Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param Alaksyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravasthitam. So, translation, Mataji?
Srimati Kuntī said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all.
So, words to understand here. Firstly, how the prayer starts. Namasye, that we bow down before the Lord. And she addresses Krishna as Purusha, original person. Tva, you, Adyam. Adyam means the original. So Purusham means supreme person. And then she says, you are not only supreme, but you are original. The first candle which lights up all other candles of his various incarnations. But that first candle nonetheless remains the first candle. Therefore Brahma in Brahma Samhita says, Govindam Adi Purusham. You are the first original supreme personality of Godhead. However, Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam. To Sarva Bhutanam, you are Alakshyam. What does Alakshyam mean? Invisible. You are not visible before the vision of the living entities. Although you are You have to speak up. It's Antar Bahir Avasthitam. You are existing Antar, inside, and outside as well. So, outside in these events leading up to, what did Krishna do outside? In relation to the prelude to these prayers, what events have happened?
He advised Arjuna to stop the Brahmastra.
Yes. So, he externally, he advised Arjuna to release the Brahmastra to counteract Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. Ashwatthama feathered through 5 Brahmastras to kill the 5 Pandavas. Externally, Krishna with Sparshan Chakra neutralized them. And then Antar, what did he do inside? He saved Parīkṣit Maharaj. So from within and without, Krishna is existing and he can do anything and everything. So just see, this one simple verse, if you continuously meditate, there's so much in there that we can always be cognizant of Lord Krishna's presence everywhere simply by recitation and hearing of this verse. Namasye Purusham Tvadiyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param. And we miss this part. Ishvaram. What does Ishvaram mean? Controller. And what kind of controller? He is Prakrite Param. So again, whenever a question is asked, we go back to the verse. What is the verse saying? Prakrite Param. Prakrite means material nature. Now there are so many greater living beings, demigods, who are in charge of different areas of Prakriti, of Mother Nature. But Krishna is not under the jurisdiction of even those demigods. He is Adhyaksha. Adhyaksha means superintendent or supervisor of even those demigods. So the laws of material nature does not apply to Krishna. So guess what? You are having direct access to the Supreme Lord who is beyond the laws of the material nature. And even though our karma may be within the jurisdiction of laws of material nature, but because we approach Ishvaram Prakrite Param, who is beyond the laws of the material nature, then there is a chance that he will extricate ourselves from beyond the laws of material nature. Durga Devi is the superintendent of the material world. She is the topmost jailer of this material world. But, in ancient times it is said that the emperor will visit the prison and he will give pardon and amnesty to the good behaved criminals, even though they haven't served their sentence out. So the emperor has that right. Similarly, Krishna has that right to completely take us out of the jurisdiction of the court of Durga Devi and completely extricate us out. Therefore, he is not an ordinary Lord, he is Ishvaram Prakrite Param. See, in just 2 simple verses, Kuntī Maharani has completely captured the essence of all Vedas. Namasye Purusham Tvadiyam Ishvaram Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravasthitam. Any more comments or questions on this verse? Yes. Mataji, you'd like to recite the next verse? Maya Javanika Channam Ajnādhokṣajam avyayam na lakshyase mūಢadrisha nato natya dharo yatha. So when we go to the next verse, we should always ask the question, what is the connection between the previous verse and the next verse? We shouldn't read verses in isolation. So what is the connection? Can anyone tell?
Beyond the material nature was in the previous verse. Here it says that beyond the range of limited sense perception.
Yes. In simple terms, can anyone, using the verses, can anyone tell?
She's saying that he's inside and outside, and now he's saying that he can do anything, like he can act anything.
Very good. So he's inside and outside. So if he's inside and outside, then the question is, why can't we see him? Very simple. Why can't we see him? Because he is covered by the deluding energy of a curtain of Maya, and he is Agna Adhokshajam Avyayam. He is beyond the perception of the limited material senses.
Here also, na lakshyase mūಢadrisha, the foolish people cannot see him.
Yes.
But in the previous what he said, alaksham sarvabhutanam. So we cannot see, all the human beings cannot see alaksham sarvabhutanam. Is there anything connected with that?
So the foolish person definitely cannot see, but even normal person, intelligent person also cannot see. No one can see.
So Sarva Bhutana Muda.
Sarva Bhutanam also and Muda. So doesn't matter you are intelligent or what, by intelligence, because intelligent is, again, we looked the other day, is a material domain. Intelligence also. Bhumi apnalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankaram iti yamme bhinnam prakriti ashtada. It's part of prakriti. It's higher than mind, but still it is material. So no one can see, although he's antar bahir avasthitam. Therefore he says, Maya javanika channam Agnādhokṣajam avyayam. So ignorant, agna, adhokshajam, beyond the range of material conception, transcendental. So when we say the word transcendental, usually Prabhupada in most of his purports uses his word transcendental. So we have to understand what does transcendental mean. That he is beyond the range of material senses. That's one way meaning. And the other thing, he is Ishwaram Prakrute Param, beyond the range of material nature. Material nature is made of three modes: goodness, sattva, rajas, passion, and tamas. So Ishwaram Prakrute Param. So he is beyond the modes of sattva guna, rajaguna, tamoguna, and is beyond the range of material senses. So aksha means eyes. Why this word is used in relation to this verse? Because from eyes we see, so-called we see. But actually, anyone who wants to be an optometrist, one of my young students, when she got into this optometry course in university many years ago, then I was just chatting with her and asking how is, what do you learn in that? So she said the first thing they tell teachers in optometry is that we don't see from eyes. I was quite surprised. I think eyes is all about seeing. She goes, no, we don't see from eyes. Eyes is just an entry point it projects the image in brain, and then through the brain we see. So then I was quite surprised. Yes, from eyes we actually cannot see. Actually, from spiritual intelligence, one is able to see. I remember Radha Govind Maharaj tells this pastime about Bilva Mangal Thakur. He was blind, but he was so much in touch with Krishna to his unalloyed love and devotion that he could see the form of the Lord. And he was in the temple every day, and he was singing glories of Krishna. But during Darshan Arti time, the Pujari would open the curtains, and then he would ask Surdas to describe what the Lord is wearing, the form of the Lord, how the Lord is looking today. And Surdas would there and there compose poet in Brajabhasa and sing. One day the Pujari thought, is someone telling him how the Lord's dress is, what color is? So the Pujari, thought, without telling anyone, I won't dress the Lord today. And then he opened the curtains, everyone was looking, oh, the Lord is not dressed. And then he asked Surdas, please sing and describe how the Lord is looking. And Surdas started laughing, and he sang, Aaj bhaya harim nanga nangam. Today my Lord is not wearing anything. So you don't need these eyes. We don't see by these eyes because he is beyond the perception of material senses. Na lakshyase mudha drisha nato natya dharo yatha. Like a dramatic actor, who is unrecognizable. Yesterday, two persons at least came to me, oh, we did not recognize you. Then I remembered, yes, nato natya dharo yatha. After eventually they recognize, but Krishna no one can recognize. It's like a dramatic actor. So from eyes we don't see. We need to have this spiritual vision. And where does this spiritual vision, how can it come from? From continuous, incessant chanting like Kuntī Devi is doing in mode of humility. Brahmaji actually says, Srutikshita, this is our way. Shruta means hearing, Ikshita means seeing. So from the channel of ears, we actually see. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hit saroja ase shrutikshita patho nanunath pumsam. Brahmaji says this, Tvam bhakti yoga, the path of your bhakti yoga, paribhavita hit saroja, straight away it penetrates in the heart. And how it happens? Ase shrutikshita patho nanunatha pumsam. When we hear the glories of the Lord, Shruta, through the channel of ears, we see the Lord. Yad yadhiya ta anugraha vibhavayanti tat tad vapu pranaya says sadanugrahaya. Brahmaji says that whatever mode the devotee is seeing or worshipping you in, tat tad vapuhu pranayase sad anugrahaya. That form of the Lord reveals in the heart. So our daily chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is so important. And another thing we have to also remember is that yesterday, for example, whole day, it was, we were so busy. And then at the end, Lord Jagannath is testing us all because somehow the other, some lapse in communication happened. No one's fault. Jagannath is doing everything. And the Abhishek items were not there. So within 1 hour, we had to go to the market, get all the fruits, and get all the devotees to make the, Abhishek juices in time. and so and so. And but everything happened. Of course, the audience doesn't know about what chaos was. But this point I'll come to a bit later on in one of the verses. And of course, throughout the week, the organizing for the whole festival is there. And so after the festival, we feel like, this is it. Let's relax for one day. Let's skip the chanting. Like in the morning, we may do it later in the evening. But actually, chanting in the morning is actually appointment with Krishna. Krishna wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and he plays his flute at 4 a.m. in the morning. It is called Brahmanada. And so we have to wake up before that. Mind will give all the excuses. Oh, today body is tired. And yes, when we wake up, body is still tired. But with this prayer, if we wake up, Ishwaram Prakrite Param, Krishna, you are beyond the Prakriti. And when we actually connect with Him, then guess what? Although we may be tired, within no time we become fresh. That tiredness goes away. We have to try it out. That tiredness goes away. We are fresh. Brahmaji says that न भारती में गमृषोपलक्ष्यते न मे क्वचिन में मनसो मृषागति न मे ऋषिकानि पतन्ति सतपते यन्मे हृदय कांथवता धृतो हरिः. Because I've held the lotus feet of my Lord Hari with great zeal, whatever I say is always true. Second thing, my condition of my mind is never tired or deteriorated. And two, my senses never have fallen into material nature, trying to just exploit through the senses, the objects of material senses. So similarly, because we are doing it for Krishna, chanting is not for us, it's for pleasure of Krishna. And because it's for pleasure of Krishna, that tiredness, although we may be tired, that tiredness goes away. And we remember these prayers and we say, sing to the Lord, yes, you are Ishwaram Prakrite Param, and He can take us beyond the Prakriti, rules of Prakriti, and He can make us ever fresh. Because Srila Prabhupada, our ever will-wisher, gave us this path, and we will always be ever fresh, like Brahmaji. Although he is very old, but he is always very young in his devotional service. He is never tired. So if you also want to be never tired, this is the formula. Always to be in touch with Krishna. Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravasthitam Maya Javanikashanam Agnadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Mudhadrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. Third verse, who wants to sing? Mataji? Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidanartham Pashyemahi Striyaha. Translation?
You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly?
Tatha Paramahamsanam of the advanced transcendentalist. Again, so what does transcendentalist mean? Beyond the material. And then he says Muninam, of great philosophers or mental speculators. And then Amalatmanam, whose minds are competent to discern between spirit and matter. So this is very important to understand, that we have to have the discrimination between this is matter, this is spirit. And accordingly, we have to conduct ourselves. This quality is known as Atmavan. Atmavan means always being cognizant that I am spirit. And therefore, I can only be happy when I connect with spirit, supreme spirit. If the connection is with matter, bhautikanam cha bhavanam, then everything matter is bound to deteriorate. So I will also deteriorate my consciousness. Amala, mala means dirty things. Amala means not dirty things. So basically, if we want to be not dirty, then we have to say no to matter and yes to spirit. And whatever matter is there, because that matter also is originating from Krishna, we have to make the best use of the bad bargain, Prabhupada says. So, all our possessions, our house, our family, our wealth, our material comforts, somehow or the other, we have to connect in service of devotees, service with the Lord, and spiritualize everything. And whatever we cannot connect, we have to discern, means we have to discriminate. No, we have to let go. Muninam Amalatmanam. Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham. Krishna especially comes to establish this principle of Bhakti Yoga so that his living children, souls, can come back to him. But if, to achieve the perfection of Bhakti Yoga, one needs to be Paramahamsa, one needs to be Muninam, one needs to be Amalatmanam. But how can an ordinary woman do this? So Kuntī Maharani is posing this question, Katham, how? Pashyema histri, how can I undertake this process? How can I undertake this process? And then she simply gives up and says, simply by chanting your names. Mataji, next verse. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Mataji, next verse. Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. So wherever our Guru Maharaj used to go, he used to make everyone recite these two verses and memorize it in class and take promise from them that they will sing these verses every day. And it's so nice. 5 names of Krishna described here and 4 bodily limbs of Krishna. Namaha Pankajnabhaya. So in this way, while having darshan of Krishna, we don't only just look, but we can meditate on the Nabhi of Krishna, his abdomen. And there's so many pastimes about Krishna's belly, his abdomen. Namaha Pankajamaline. So basically, the garland of Krishna, it is said, is from his neck right down to his feet. It's long. So just by looking at the garland from bottom to top, we can have darshan of the whole body of Krishna, right up to the neck. And then, Namaha Pankajanetraya. Then we can have darshan of Krishna's lotus face. And as soon as we look at someone's face, the first thing actually we see are their eyes. When connection with eyes are made. Yesterday, as we were mentioning, that Lord Jagannath's eyes are big because he wants to claim the living entities. He's looking at the living entities. And Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj says, we look at the black portion of Lord Jagannath's eyes, all our poison of material desires, Lord Jagannath destroys. He is the antidote of the poison of sense gratification that we have, the black portion of his eyes. And then with white portion of his eyes, he nourishes us. And with the red portion of his eyes, he actually bestows mercy upon us, because we all are not qualified. And this is how the Lord claims us. So the memorization of these verses is not so that we can do some scholarly gymnastics. No, it is bhakti. Srīmad Bhāgavatam is a bhakti pradhana grantha. This is a way we can absorb ourselves in the pastimes, the names, the forms, the qualities, and various activities of Krishna. And therefore it is very important. Prabhupada very much wanted all devotees to know Srīmad Bhāgavatam, sing Srīmad Bhāgavatam, meditate on Srīmad Bhāgavatam, live by Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Srīmad Bhāgavatam is no one but Krishna himself. This is our deity, Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangrehe Namaste Pankajangrehe. And then in the next few verses, Kuntī Maharani is expressing her personal experience of Krishna's mercy upon especially her and her children, the Pandavas, on how she got protection from Krishna. And she considered herself as more fortunate than Devaki, because when Devaki's 6 children were killed, Krishna did not save. But along with Kuntī Maharani, her children also were saved. And Prabhupada gives explanation in the purport to various reasons why. But one thing we have to account and take lessons from this is that Kuntī Maharani was a very, from the material point of view, very unfortunate person. Because without being married, she had a child due to the blessings of Durvasa Muni, but she, in her immaturity, tested that mantra, and so Surya Deva came, and through that, Karna was born. She could not keep that child because she was unmarried, and what would society think? So she had to give an offer to Ganges and request Mother Ganges to carry it to a person or a family who would look after this child and bring as their own. But in her heart, she always carried this burden. Where would that child be? How he would be? And then when she got married, She got married to an emperor, Pandu, but very soon she became widow. And then when she went back to the Hastinapur kingdom to be under the protection of Dhritarashtra, the elder brother of her husband, then the children were discriminated against and they were mistreated and they were tried to be killed in various ways. Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshanad Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrita Mridhe Mridhe Anek Maharathastrato Daunias Tato Chasma Hare Bhirakshita. So she mentions these various incidents where Krishna saved her. However, what does she not mention? She does not mention about her unfortunate giving birth to a child she had to abandon. She does not mention that she became widow at a young age. She does not mention that she had to go to exile. So similarly, when we are in front of the Lord, we have to carry this mood. No, Lord, you have given me so much. And actually, He's given us so much. And He's continuing to give us so much. If anyone who has a right to complain, it's Kuntī Maharani. But see her attitude. She sees the glass full. She's counting her blessings. Forget about going to these causes of how to get out of depression, how to, just if we study Kuntī Maharani prayers, we will know. Of course, under the guidance of Prabhupada and devotees, we have to do this. So, counting the blessings. No, Krishna is always merciful. Krishna is always there. However, she goes on to say, okay, who next? Yes, Keshni. We haven't recited text number 6. (23) Yatha Rishikesha Kalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddharti Chiram Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvoyeva nathe namhur vipadgana. Yes, Mataji, next one. Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshana Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichritaha Midhe Midhene Kamaharathastrato Draunyastratascha Hare Bhirakshita. Prabhu, you want to try next one? Vipada Santuta Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya Apunar Bhava Darshanam. So, Kuntī Maharani says, I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and death. Gauranga Priyadarshan Prabhu on this verse, basically he says that the security of material world is actually a danger. The security of material world is actually a danger. Why is it a danger?
Could fall off at any time.
Yes, because the demise is inevitable. It's only a matter of time. But if we think that we are secure, then we are living a life of an ostrich. Danger all around us, but we are putting our head in the sand and thinking because we don't see the danger, there is no danger. But Kuntī Maharani, she basically here is saying, yes, let those calamities come, because that makes us being cognizant of you. We remember you in calamities. And because we remember you, you come personally. Bhavato darshanam yat syad. And your darshan is such, apunar bhava darshanam, that they don't have to come back again in this material world. This is actually the definition of sampadi. Sampadi and vipadi, they are the two different ends of the spectrums. And the understanding of the material person is completely convoluted. Vipada nahi eva vipada. Shastras say that what we consider as vipada, calamity, is actually not calamity. Sampada nahi eva sampada. That we consider as wealth or good is actually not good. Then what is vipada? Vipada vismaranam Vishnum. When we forget Vishnu, that is the situation of calamity. Sampada Narayana Smritihi. When we remember Narayana, Krishna, then that is actually sampati. So if in situation of calamity we can feelingly remember Krishna, then we should consider ourselves as blessed actually. And because Ishwaram Prakrute Param, again this line we have to memorize it. Ishwaram Prakrute Param. Because Krishna is beyond the jurisdiction of material nature, and Vipadi, that we consider as Vipadi, is material nature, it is metta, but our consciousness, if it is to Krishna, which is Prakrute Param, then we will also be in that elated condition. So even though all the miseries will be there, we will be immune from the experience of those miseries. Therefore, some people we see, they are so much in comfort situation, Krishna has given them everything, but still they are miserable. And some people are going through so much misery, but they are so happy. It is this connection of spirituality that makes the difference. So actual sampadi is remembrance of Krishna. Therefore King Kulshekhar says, please repeat, nice verse from third verse of Mukundamala Stotra. Mukunda Murdhana. Oh Mukunda, I bow my head to you. Pranipadhyayache. And I do yachna, I do begging to you. Bhavantamekam. Iyantamartham. And I ask only for this ekam, this one thing in this material world. Avismritistvat charanarvinde. Avismritist. May I never forget Tava charanarvinde, your lotus feet. Smriti means remembrance. Asmriti means forgetfulness. Avismritis means forgetfulness. So he says, Avismritistvat charanarvinde bhave bhave me bhavatu prasadan. Please give me this prasada, this mercy, that I may not forget your lotus feet. Because when we forget Krishna's lotus feet, that is actually vipadi. rest of the situation is actually sampati. However, those who are intoxicated, so in the next 26 verse, yes, Rahul Prabhu. Janmaishvarya Shruta Sribhir Edamana Madhapumam Naivarhati Abhidhatum Vai Tvamakinchana Gocharam. Translation?
My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but not only by those who are materially exhausted, one who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling.
So sincere feeling is the main thing. If we are so much overcome by the sense of happiness. I was listening to Swayam Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj class, and he mentioned that, okay, in Bhagavad Gita when I started reading, he said that one has to tolerate miseries. But then one has to tolerate happiness. That I could not understand, he said. And this is the thing, tolerance of happiness is more important than tolerance of misery. Because in miserable condition, at least, even though we may be, complaining to the Lord, but still will be going to the Lord. But in the happiness condition, we won't even be going to the Lord. So therefore Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Raga Dvesa Vimuktestu Dukkhesu Anudvigmanaha Sukhesu Vegadaspruhaha. Dukkhesu Anudvigmanaha. When the mind doesn't become udveg means disturbed, or anudvig in misery, dukkhesu anudvigmanaha. And sukhesu vigadaspruhaha. In happiness, it doesn't become too elated. Vitaraga bhaya krodha sthita pragnastadutchate. That such a person is of steady intelligence, who can tolerate the happiness as well. As Abhaycharan Prabhu was mentioning, when Sudama, he came back after seeing Krishna, he saw big palaces, he saw, his heart was gone, and then he came to realize, Krishna has given this. He did not forget Krishna, but he started remembering Krishna even more. So this is the devotee. That these things, if we become intoxicated with them, edamanaha madhapumam. Madha means intoxication, especially intoxication of pride of wealth, intoxication of the pride of beauty, intoxication of the pride of education, intoxication of the pride of opulence, position, power, whatever it may be. Naivarhati abhidhatum vai. With feeling we cannot approach Krishna. Krishna is tvam akinchana gocharam. One who has feeling, who is done with material things, who has complete faith. There is no happiness in material life. That person is called akinchana. So Krishna is the property of the materially impoverished. It's not that they are poor. They are the wealthiest. But they don't have faith in that material thing, that this will give me happiness. If we think, Steve Jobs said that a $30,000 watch and a $30 watch will give you the same time. No difference. $100,000 bed, you can get those water beds. I remember about 30 years ago, this first person in Fiji, it came in the newspaper that he bought a water bed for $30,000 at that time, imported it from somewhere. But guess what? A dog outside will even have a sounder sleep. Is that mic on? No. Yeah, that's right. It should be okay now. Yeah, Haribol. Yeah, it's okay. Yes. So, our Guru Maharaj used to quote Narsimha Mehta and he said, Patak Maya Pari. Meaning, we think that this thing will give us happiness. He said, Patak. Patak means, yeah, how can we translate it? Smash it. Yeah, throw it. Patak Maya Pari, Atak Charne Hari. And atak means get stuck at the lotus feet of Krishna. Second line, third line forgot, I think. Vatakma vatshu, I'm telling the truth, don't feel bad about it. Something like that. Patak maya pari, atak charne hari. It's a Gujarati bhajan, Prabhuji. It says, Hari Hari Ratan Kar Kathan Kali Kalama Dam Bese Nahi Kaj Sar Se. That Hari Hari Ratan Kar. Chant the names of Hari Krishna. Kathan Kali Kal. This Kali Kal is very kathan. Dam Bese Nahi. We don't charge you money. We actually give you prasad. And Kaj Sar Se. All our work काम पूरा हो जाएगा. Nice bhajans. So many nice bhajans are there. Next verse, yes. Namo kinchana vittaya nivritta guna vrittaye atma ramaya shantaya Kaivalyapataye Namaha. Translation.
My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are the master of the modes.
So again, Gauranga Priyadarshan Prabhu, for each line he's given a relatable meaning. So Namo Akinchana Vrittaya, property of the materially poor. He says, unalloyed devotees, Akinchana, are abodes of love. So Akinchana actually means we are wealthy because we are considering love of Krishna as all in all. So the other day we were looking, isn't it, that in material world, Maya sustains everyone by illusion. What does that mean? Maya sustains everyone by illusion.
We are safe and everything, nothing can happen to us.
It's like we'll be imagining, no, this is correct, but it is not.
Yes. What is the greatest illusion?
That we are able to live.
I can do everything. Okay. Bit more than that. Very close.
Controller.
We are going to live for a long.
Yes. The word I'm looking for is hope. I hope one day I can be happy. Asha pasha, shata shata. So asha pa. This we are tied by the hope. We know this is not possible, but we hope against all odds. That is actually the greatest bondage of Maya, and that is sustaining us in material world. No, one day I'll ek din kamyab. One day, I'll, let's hope. Asha, pasha, shata, thousands of hope. Hope makes us go on. If the hope dies, the person also dies. In the spiritual world, Vaikuntha planets, what is sustaining everyone? It is said, Krishna's 6 opulences. Wealth, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, strength, opulence. So just imagine, we are nourished and sustained by Shad Aishwarya. Lord Brahma says, Satvena yanmridayate bhagavan bhagena. So Bhagavan means one who possesses 6 bhags. These are the 6 bhags: opulence, beauty, wealth, strength, knowledge, renunciation. So Satvena, only in mode of goodness or mode of pure goodness, yan mridayate, one becomes happy. When Bhagavan Bhagena, when he is in touch with Bhagavan, who has these 6 bhags, which nourishes the living entity, mridayate. But in Golok Vrindavan, what sustains everyone?
No.
Only love. Just imagine. So everyone must have been in love sometime or the other. At that time, we don't feel hungry, we don't feel like sleeping, So imagine just little momentarily, of course, then once we wake up, we realize, okay, as Mother Parvati says, your false love has been proved or something like that. Yesterday's dialogue was there. Actually, that's true. No one in this material world actually loves anyone. Love is only applicable to Krishna, Supreme Lord, and those who actually approach him, he sustains them by love. No need for any. Therefore, it is said actually that material necessities decline to the proportion of our attachment and surrender to Krishna.
You can repeat that, please.
Material necessities. Oh, Krishna, you can take it up in the recording. Namo akinchana vrittaya nivritta guna vrittaye atmaramaya shantaya kaivalya pataye namaha. Yes. Next one, Prabhuji. Manye tvam kalam ishanam anadi nidhanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmitha kalihi. Translation, Prabhu.
Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller, without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse.
Okay. This is a very nice verse. Manye tvam kalam ishanam. I consider you to be kal or eternal time. So, what's the function of kala? Time. To destroy anything material. Bhautikanam cha bhavanam. Everything materially, the kal, it destroys, deteriorates. However, for the devotee, the time factor is not having an effect. In spiritual world, it is mentioned that the time is absent. What's the word? Absent by its?
It's conspicuous by its absence.
It's conspicuous by its absence. Can you explain that, Prabhu, a bit more?
It's there, but the destroying aspect is not there. So in the spiritual world, the time is there, like in the morning Krishna wakes up, Mother Yashoda feeds him breakfast and all that, and then he goes to herd the cows. But the destruction aspect which is there in the material world is not in the spiritual world. So it is there, but it is conspicuous by its absence of destructive aspect. Conspicuous means it's obvious, it's there, yes, and but the destructive aspect is not there in the spiritual world.
Ah.
So otherwise, if the time is not there, then the pastime won't happen. The seasons won't change. The Ashtakarya Leela won't be performed like that. Okay? Because Krishna has 8-fold pastimes during the day. This is called Ashtakarya Leela. Ashtakal means the time. So there are Ashtakarya Leela, and they won't be performed if there's no time. But there's time there without the destructive capacity.
So in the material world, if you are in material consciousness, the destructive capacity of Krishna's Kala acts. So we are acting against our self-interest if we are not surrendering to Krishna. Because Krishna will come either way or the other. He will come in form of love or he will come in form of Kala. And in the form of Kala, he destroys everything. So Kuntī Maharani says, those who are not able to approach you due to being intoxicated with material opulence, Manye Tvam Kalam Ishanam. For them you come as destructive Kala. Anadi Nidhanam Vibhum. The Lord, you are without beginning and end, and all pervasive. There is a past time, but I'll mention some other time. We are, getting close to time. Samam charantam sarvatra. Equally merciful to all everywhere. So Krishna is samam. So Krishna is not partial. As Prabhuji in one of the classes, last week mentioned, Krishna is not partial, but he is reciprocal. So whatever, if we want to close our windows, then sunlight won't come in. It's not the sunlight's fault, it is shining. So Krishna Hai Surya Saman. Krishna's effulgence is there to attract us. But if we close our eyes, look away from it, or close the windows, then you can't blame Krishna. Krishna, what are you doing? I remember I used to go to Ramakrishna Mission when I was in my school days, and there this Bengal South Indian Swamiji was there, but he used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he used to like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Although he was a Mayavadi, he was still so Krishna attracts everyone. And he used to say this one verse which I really liked, and he used to say, Guru Krishna Vaishnava Tiner Kripa Holo. That Guru, Krishna, Vaishnava, all these three Tiner Kripa Holo are always merciful. Eker Kripa Bino Jiva Chare Khare Gelo. But Eker means our own Kripa is not there. We are not merciful upon our own selves. And therefore, Jiva Chare Khare Gelo. Therefore, Jiva means us. We are smashed into pieces and pieces. So, Krishna's Kripa is always there because he is Samam Charantam Sarvatra. Bhutanam Yanmitha Kalihi. So this line is very important to us. First 3 lines describes Krishna, but this line describes us. What does it say? Bhutanam Yanmitha Kalihi. Gauranga Darshan Priya Prabhu says, an abode of conflicting qualities and bewildering acts. Prabhupada's translation is what here for that? Social intercourse, the dissensions is due to the social intercourse between living entities. So, we don't know Krishna, but we know each other. And then we try to extract rasa from each other. But we cannot do that because Krishna is Rasika Rasa Shekhara. And therefore, if I am not able to satisfy you, I am condemned by you. If you are not able to satisfy me, you will be condemned by me. And this is how the conflicts, the dissension in the whole world are going on. So, as at the start we were like mentioning, yesterday was a chaos, especially at 3 o'clock when we came to know Pujari is going, where is the Abhisheka? No, he's but the thing about devotee is that everyone is calm, even in chaotic situation. If I was thinking if it's a material something happening, there'll be flights and clashes and everything would be going, throwing here and there. Then immediately, rang few people, are you doing it? No one told me. Okay, put the phone down. Prabhu, are you doing it? I thought he was doing it. Okay, it's not done. Immediately made a few other phone calls. One person get these many things, the other person get these many things. We came here, we pulled other people who were making puris in the kitchen. No puris can make later. Now come make the juice. And it happened. Why? Because Krishna, everyone knows Krishna is the center. Abhishek is at 5 o'clock. Prasadam is at after 7:30. No resources and everything in time. It just happened. The point is that whenever there is dissension and there is conflict, then we have to understand because Krishna is not in the center. That is the reason. So our Guru Maharaj used to say that if two God brothers, they were fighting, disagreement was there, not getting along, he would tell them, you just please get together and read Bhāgavatam, recite verses, discuss the meanings, and you will see how the dissension disappears. Simple formula, we come, we read, we discuss, we honor Prashadam, we do Kirtan, we worship Krishna. The dissensions will completely go away. It's a simple formula and most effective formula. Please, Prabhu.
This was so two things I want to share. One is the pastime of Srila Prabhupada. This was narrated by His Holiness Giriraj Swami. So I think this was in Hyderabad, and Giriraj Swami, he was not a sannyasi then. He was just Giriraj Das. And another devotee called Tejas Prabhu. And they used to always have these issues among themselves. Like they were thinking, it's like too much working with this guy. Both of them would think like that. And then they decided to approach Prabhupada and just give him an ultimatum that if he stays here, then I will leave this place and serve somewhere else. So both of them were thinking like that. And actually the description is very beautiful. I cannot do justice to what it is described actually in the Leela. So Prabhupada was sitting in his room and he was chanting Hare Krishna on his beats, and from a window, beautiful, just soft sunlight is coming in, and they both entered at the same time. They wanted to complain against each other, but Krishna's arrangement, they both entered at the same time. And when they entered Prabhupada's room, they paid their obeisances, and Prabhupada was just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. He's just chanting with his eyes closed, and Giriraj Maharaj is describing that it was such a sight that Prabhupada is actually in the spiritual world, and he's got like no presence in the material world. And then after a couple of minutes, they stood there. After a couple of minutes, Prabhupada opened the eyes, and in typical Prabhupada fashion, he said, "So." And both of them, just because of Prabhupada chanting, all the dissension what they had against each other, he said, just disappeared. They bowed down to Prabhupada, they went out, and then they decided to work together from there on. So this we can see the dissension what was there, just by watching a pure devotee chant like that, it just went away. The second point I want to make is, bro, that this, when I was reading this verse, earlier, probably some time ago, I thought this is a good verse for preaching. And then I thought, when we understand, if we are, trying to speak to someone about Krishna, and they are, not so much in favor, then the first two lines, we have to meditate within ourselves. That yes, Manye Twam Kalamisham, Krishna is time, so whatever happens in time is according to Krishna's arrangement. Anadi Nidhanam Vibhum. That means he is going to be there all the time. Whether we want to take part in his preaching mission or no, the choice is ours. So in our heart and mind we meditate that Krishna's Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes are going to go on. It is up to me whether I actually take part in the karma or no. Third line is we can use that in convincing others. Samam charantam sarvatra. And last week we have spoken about this, that we can explain to the other person that yes, Krishna's mercy and Krishna's benedictions, Krishna's favors are for everyone, equal to everyone. But depends on how big our pot is. So when we explain this to someone else, and they'll think, yeah, actually, it makes sense. If it's raining, and if you hold a small cup, you'll get that much water. But if you hold a big bowl, you'll get that much more water. Third line we explain them, and again the fourth line is for our own meditation, is that I will try, I will do my best. Ultimately, Kali is going to go on like that, leave everything to Krishna. This is what my simple, meditation was on this one.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I also remember a pastime where, Srila Prabhupada demonstrates this point as well. Actually, it's a long pastime, so maybe some other time, when I speak, I will give. But look forward to that. Remind me. But the point is, any conflict is there is because we have, forgotten that what is important. Shamanand Prabhu says, when you are in a train station and on a platform and you have a train to catch, will you fight with the porter for 50 rupees? The 50 rupees, porter is asking more than what he asked for. You just give him even 100 rupees more, take your bag and board the train. So similarly, anything that happens, if that is taking our energy away from Krishna, then we say, okay, just let it go and do what will make us focus in Bhāgavatam, in our chanting, in preaching, in association of devotees. Janma karma cha vishvatman ajasya karturatmana tiryam nishishu yadahashu tad atyanta vidambanam. At first, when we were little, those Ramayana, series used to come, and then in there, one of the dialogues, when they could not understand anything, they would say, "Hey Bhagavan, ye kaisi vidambana hai?" I was thinking, what is this vidambana? But here we see Prabhupada so nicely explains vidambanam. bewilderment. It's bewildering. Krishna's, everything about Krishna to a non-devotee or even a devotee may be bewildering because no one can understand. As it is said here, that who can understand Krishna? On one hand, he is stealing the makhan, the buttermilk, and on the other hand, he is punishing Kauravas who stole the kingdom of the Pandavas. On one hand, he is stealing the clothes of the gopis, and on the other hand, he is extending unlimited sari to cloth Draupadi. So many, there are like complete opposite actions are performed. Who can understand Krishna? Then Kuntī Maharani says the famous verse, Gopya dade tvai kritaga siddham tavad yate dasasruka lilanjana sambhramaksham vaktram niniya bhava bhavayana sthitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi adviveti. That Krishna, who on one hand is fear personified, for fear personified, and he is fearful of Mother Yashoda, who is standing with a stick, and Krishna is crying to such an extent that the ointment of his eyes, kajal, has come on his cheeks. Kalilanjana sambhramaksham. One who is supposed to punish everyone, sashta, he is frightened of being punished by Mother Yashoda. How bewildering is Krishna's activity? Who can understand Krishna? So we'll stop there. But the important thing is we have to understand that it's not that, okay, we have done these prayers, Hare Krishna. No. These prayers are never end. Anadi Nidhanam Vibhum. No beginning, no end. Actually, the more we chew, I remember these prayers maybe 25 years ago, our Guru Maharaj was teaching, making us memorize. And again, when we started here, and Sydney many times we have done it. And again, when I was starting here, I was thinking, like done this before, it may not be that much exciting. But then again, that's my material mind saying that. But when we got into it, newer and newer meanings, newer and newer nectar is coming out, which we never previously thought. Why? Because Bhagavatam is Krishna, and Krishna is ever fresh and ever new. Navina Nirada. And therefore, this Bhagavatam is always fresh. Therefore, please, these prayers were very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Let us make a conscious effort to learn these prayers, not only at 6:30 morning sessions, but no, throughout the day. Memorize the whole prayer. 26 verses are there to be memorized. And if we do that, then actually our consciousness will be there with Krishna.
I know we are all hungry for breakfast. We are over time. But can I just, with your permission, share a wonderful pastime? When we speak about Krishna, that we do not understand Krishna, Raghunath Goswami actually says that even the exalted Vaishnavas do not know Krishna, and they do not know his pastimes. In his book Srīmad Shiksha, he gives an example that one time Jayadeva Goswami, he was writing about a pastime of Srimati Radharani and Lord Shri Krishna. And there, Krishna, he actually is singing a verse in the praise of Srimati Radharani. I'll just shorten it very much, I'm not going to go long. So in that verse, Krishna is saying that Radharani, you are so beautiful and you are so attractive to me that I wish that I could put my head on your lotus feet. So this is actually the verse Krishna is singing. While Jayadeva Goswami is writing, then when he comes to this part, he says, actually no, Krishna is the Supreme. How can this happen? It can never happen. And then he's just contemplating, he's meditating, he's thinking what to do. Because Krishna is supreme. He will not bow down in front of anyone, including Srimati Radharani. So he puts his pen down. He tells his wife, okay, I'm just like stopping here and I'm going to Ganga for chanting my Gayatri and taking my bath. And then he leaves. And then the wife of Vijayadeva Goswami is still, doing her household chores. And then immediately Vijayadeva Goswami comes back. And he goes back straight on the desk and he starts writing. And he writes, in the same verse he writes, where he writes that Krishna is praising Radharani's beauty and he's bowing down to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And then after that he tells his wife, I'm going again to chant my Gayatri. And then after some time, Jayadeva Goswami returns. And the wife is confused. Says, you went, then you came back again, you wrote something, and then you went back and come back again. Says, no, I went for the first time and I'm returning now. Then he asked his wife, what did I do when I returned here? He says, you came here and you straight went on the writing desk and you wrote. Then Jayadeva Goswami went and he saw what was written. And then what was written was the actual verse where Krishna is bowing down to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Then he realizes that actually even I have not understood Krishna. Krishna has come in my form and he's actually written this. This is how Krishna is. Even exalted Vaishnavas cannot understand him. So please, I'm not saying that this is this, but it's just a wonderful pastime where you can understand that Krishna and the devotees, the love and the exchanges are so beautiful that it's just enchanting all the time. Hare Krishna.
And actually it is good that we don't understand Krishna, because then Krishna will surprise us in a newer and newer and a better and better way always. Relationship will never be boring. Jai Grantaraj Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Bhakta Bind ki jai.